What's going on, you guys? Gaming Ad here, coming at you with another show. And today, I have a very special panel, man. We have a very special show. In case you ain't noticed, the topics, it's going to be a little bit of a messy show, man. And guess what? Lord Cognito ain't around to stop it. We have officially silenced Lord Cognito on the Addict Show. He cannot stop us. This is my realm. You know, like in the animes where you walk into like a little diameter and it's like they're not allowed. For this particular show, Cognito is not allowed to stop this. So we're going to be talking about how strong Xbox exclusives seem to be going on. We're going to be talking about the Coalition seems to be working on a non-Gears title. I want the panel's, kind of criteria with that. We're going to talk about the Xbox lineup for the next year and a half. So first off, King David has joined us. Obviously, if it's something like this, man, we got to get King David on here. What's going on, King David?
You know what it is. It's a Tuesday's reset day. We out here ready to smash pumpkins. Let's go.
Smash pumpkins. Oh, geez. We there, man. We there. Then we got K Mega from the GRG podcast. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? When the call got sent, I was like, oh, somebody wants some of that delicious slander today. So I was like, all right, I'm here. So, and now we got King David in the building. So yeah, it might be pretty brutal for the opposing side, but we're gonna keep it honest.
It's always brutal for them. What you talking
Oh,
about?
man.
In case you ain't noticed, the past probably year, man, it ain't safe to come outside for them.
Oof. It's been awfully quiet. I'm seeing people talk about the Kraken. And it used to be the Kraken was lacking, but I guess that could be going to the Kraken is lacking over there because they ain't got no memory over there. So I don't know, man.
God.
I don't know.
That memory?
Yeah. There was people talking
memory?
about
They filling that space and that dead space in the console.
Well, they're trying to make an excuse of saying, well, Sony doesn't need to give the.
You said exclusive or exclusives?
Yeah.
You got exclusive hole in the box.
I've seen a couple of them come out and say, well, the Kraken, because if you look at the difference between how many gigs goes into the Xbox Series X and then how many goes into the PlayStation 5, you see that the Kraken is a beast. Oh, so all right. But still,
and none of these people even played Sea of Thieves. That's the funny part.
I know,
So
right?
first off, I think I definitely want to talk about this statement that Shawn Layden made. He was talking about whether or not Game Pass is sustainable, not only necessarily money wise, but from making a diverse of a library wise. And I want to go to King first on this because I know King is the king of the Game Pass slander. He's pretty much for the past 2 years he's been giving us a roadmap of how Game Pass is gonna do what Game Pass. But besides the CD Projekt Red, that didn't happen. We ain't gonna go into that. So we're gonna King exactly. What is your response? Or what did you think when you first saw Layden's comment about this?
Well, I was happy he was alive, because I was thinking Jimmy Hoffa. We never saw that man again. And I'm like, is Shawn buried in Giant Stadium too? Oh my God! I was looking for the man. I was worried for the man, but Shawn came out of his hidey hole, and it takes something as big as Game Pass to remove him from his dark spaces. You understand? It takes something very incredible to remove you from the hidden zone. He was banished, and your man stuck his head out to say, Game Pass ain't it? How you hear about it where you was at? That's what I want to know. If it ain't it, why you worried about it? If it ain't it, why you trying to scream and tell people it ain't it? You know what it is? This is where fear sets in. You understand fear, and you can smell it. Because somebody will yell out something random that has absolutely nothing to do with them. They'll yell out something random, and you know exactly where their fear lies. Oh, you need 500 million subscribers or something ridiculous to make you believe something that is not true. They told you before that the Game Pass can't be sustainable. They told you before that Game Pass will only have what is this? Shovelware, and the Game Pass will be the land of broken games. They told you all types of things, but at the end of the day, Game Pass has been the home of first-party games that didn't release on their console for free, and we got it for free. Game Pass has been the home of day and dates. People never saw day and dates happening, and these are day and dates and AAA titles. They told you that it wouldn't be sustainable to have your first-party titles launched there because your company can't survive. Your company can't survive.
So out of curiosity, I kind of want to work back a little bit when he's talking about like the diversity thing in terms of type of games that goes into this platform.
Are you out of your mind? He obviously didn't step in and put his head fully into the pot of Game Pass. So it is absolutely, completely, 100% diverse.
That's what I want to really capitalize on. Is like I don't really understand the concept and what he was talking about here, because like to me, when I look at Game Pass, there's a lot of diversity types of genres.
It's only diversity,
and that's the part that like kind of like makes me scratch my head the most, because I'm just like, has this dude ever looked at Game Pass? Like,
no. He was banished, bro. Like I'm telling you right now.
He was sent off to Narnia. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Narnia. Oh my. We took so
Sony
over there threw him into the cupboard, man. They just like, you don't gotta go home, but you can't come here. Like
Yoshida was quiet, man. That's why he got his demotion. He's quiet. He's talking about indies, man. So that's,
Yoshida got the.
You have the whole Yakuza series over there. It's RPG heaven. It's first-person shooter heaven. It's strategy games. There are indie games that are so diverse.
All right, so here I'm gonna put up the app for just PC. Keep in mind, chat.
Go for it.
This is just PC. We're not even looking at the apps for everything. So if we look at this, clearly it's got a little bit to love. I mean, look at all this diversity. Like you got all the Dishonored, you got the Dead Spaces, obviously that's through EA Access, but you still have access to it because of Game Pass Ultimate. You got the Dooms, so that's first person shooters. You got I
just played Roger.
The Signa 4.
That game was ridiculous.
That's like a strategy game. You got the Fallout, some more first person shooters, platformers. You got these JRPGs.
You got walking sims.
You
got racing games.
Racers, fighters.
I'm looking at this and I'm just like, what world did this dude live? Like, I feel like he didn't think. I feel like
in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, right. I feel like he panicked answered, if that makes sense to you. Like he panicked.
He fanboyed answered.
Yeah, you probably right there. He probably.
It's a difference. It's very hard to see that you've been booted out by the same dude that you shared the stage with. And I told you guys, watch very closely how my man stood in the middle and he X'd out both people on the side. Bow. He both of them. Bow, out of there. Him and Reggie, gone. But at the same time, it's very hard to see somebody that if you felt that you was able to compete with and you wasn't given a chance to, because your numbers and your situation wasn't right and the philosophies changed and they changed and switched up on you. And to see right now, Game Pass and Xbox is about to do something that Shawn felt that if he was in position, that would never have happened. You understand? It's very hard for you to swallow that pill that you are not in the fight. You are not in the fight. You are not engaged. You were silenced. You were shut, and you was thrown in the corner. And he did a lot of work over there. He made them very prominent. So you don't think that during this period of time, you're looking at what's going on over there. He's like, what's happening? And all he could say is that his presence has been removed. You don't think he hear people say, Jim Dance moves, Ryan needs to be gone. He's like, yeah, I was in that spot. Right. Why did you take me out? I never seen a petition to get Shawn Layden out.
And then you can look at it from the standpoint that when all of the the PC stuff came out on the open and Homeboy's been dragged through the dirt a little bit, Jim Dance moves, Ryan's like, Shawn was liking all of these posts on Twitter. So like clearly he is a little bit bitter on what happened over there, and like,
wouldn't you be?
Oh, I was bitter for him. I didn't have to be in that situation. I'm already bitter for him, like because
people thought I was joking around when I was saying where's Shawn. Like you thought I was joking around. I want to beat the champ. You understand? I want to beat the champ at his finest. I want to beat the champ in his prime. I don't want to beat the champ when he done lost weight off of keto. I don't want that. I don't want that champ. That's not the dude. So this is gonna be an easy KO, and it's not the dude that we wanted the KO.
No, no, because Jim Ryan, you can tell right off the bat that he is a person that is listening to the upper management. Shawn Layden seemed like he gave a little bit of pushback. And the one thing that PlayStation fans, or I should call them stands, what they felt on was off the greatness of what PlayStation did for the few games that they presented that got everybody hyped over, right? Like, and that there's nothing, you can't take anything away from that. But PlayStation also lived up that old trope, basically saying, oh, you know, single player games, they're about to be out of there. Phil Spencer, EA, all the industry, they want to get rid of single player games. And so not only the fans, media sided with that, was going to go ahead and give single players all the glory, all of this. And Shawn Layden benefited off of a lot of mistakes that Microsoft made in the last gen. But they were preparing. And they said that. Once Phil got in, he said, look, we're going to make it right. It's going to take time. And now, this is the one thing too that is pretty crazy is that PlayStation is having another slow start, just like they did last gen. The difference was because of Xbox, the whole DRM thing, the price differences and things like that. Remember, there was people telling us the PlayStation Slim was going to be the most dominant product in the gaming space because of its price range. Now they're telling you that nobody wants a product that's cheaper, which you're talking about the Series S, because of whatever reasons. Yeah, talk about Little Man. Talk about that nobody wants Little Man now because it's just not as sustainable as its counterpart. But if you go and you look at the Pro, you look at the PlayStation, you look at the regular PlayStation, and the PlayStation Slim. PlayStation Slim was the product that got bought the most. So why is it that people aren't looking at that the same way? And why those same people that was making the case for the PlayStation Slim aren't making the same case for the Series S because they're undercutting PlayStation. It's crazy to me. And then with all of the other problems that we're seeing with the management issues, it's something I've been saying for years. I'm like, look, Microsoft is going through this situation with the Xbox One because of the turnover. PlayStation is going to go through the same thing as well. They can't have all this turnover. When you have big wigs like Andrew House and
but you know what the difference is with the turnover from Microsoft and the turnover from Sony?
Oh yeah,
Microsoft, the company, can absorb that turnover.
Absorb it, right? Sony
cannot.
And as you can just look at the acquisitions, everybody else is making all these huge acquisitions. Sony says what they're doing, they're acquiring exclusives for 2 years. That should tell you something right there. Things aren't the same. And then once Shawn Layden was saying that they were doubling down, they were going to have to cut back because games cost so much to make, which he's absolutely right about that. We're going to start giving you more of the same, which was going to be lack of diversity. And then I think that's when the heads butted between upper management and with Shawn Layden, and then was like, nah, you out of there.
What he didn't have was a formulated plan to subsidize the course of AAA titles. All right, so you're seeing games like Horizon and games like God of War, budgets start to explode. And when these budgets start to explode, their direct plan in subsidizing these titles is to cut content and give you content as forms of DLC and give you content as far as remasters and remasters and up-reses and holding back content behind paywalls. So that strategy is a failed and a flawed strategy. Right. Whereas Game Pass strategy, it's a winning formula. At first, you may look at it as it's a losing formula, but if you throw all your first parties inside of the subscription service, and then you make it, date and date, and those games are available for purchase, you still have the crowd that's going out to purchase, but then you also bolster your subscription service. That is something that Sony was unwilling to do, and it's still unwilling to do, because they don't see the financial gain when it comes to doing something like that, because they don't have the infrastructure in doing so. Microsoft laid that roadmap a long time ago with the Azure Cloud. With the Azure Cloud systems, they were building this future, and they were holding on, hoping that the parent company would see the strides that they were making inside the gaming division. Once the gaming division started gaining traction in a form that it can actually compete, then they actually went full force behind it. You can tell by the branding and stuff that's going on now. Sony lost faith in Shawn. Sony
Right.
lost faith in
Yeah.
Shawn because Shawn lacked vision. Shawn
I don't
was an entertainer.
I don't
Well, no,
necessarily think that Sony lost faith in Shawn.
If they
I
didn't, he
think
would still be there.
I think
well, that
Shawn
part is true. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit to that, but I think it was mainly Shawn lost the power struggle. Like he lost the
Right.
favorite.
He lost the power.
And I think that's what mainly happened. I don't think necessarily like Sony was like on some let's get Shawn up out of there. I think Sony was on like we're having redundant roles at this point because this dude has won the favor of the company, and we've seen it like
That's
clearly
losing faith.
that what you
Right.
get what you get what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
if they-
I'm
if-
saying
If you
for-
turn, yeah, if you go from somebody that is actually pushing back and trying to give out, is trying to say, look, my way has been successful. The things that we've
Yes.
been doing, you know what I'm saying, it can work. We just got to sustain it. And then you compare it to somebody who's Jim Ryan. You know, I don't know the man, of course, but it seems like he is more of a person that listens to what corporate tells him than him actually laying down, you know, some kind of initiative. That to me just tells you right there, they just wasn't agreeing in that frame of person. And Jim Ryan won.
This is where the boardroom looks at things. The boardroom doesn't see the things how we see the things, right? Okay. The boardroom sees numbers. They see money. They come in there with their charts. They talk about their charts. They talk about what we did in this quarter, that quarter versus this quarter, what was spent, what was acquired, and what was made, what was actual expenditures, and what was gross incomes. And they're looking for split dividends. When they're doing these things, Shawn Layden is not the man for that, because Shawn is going up there as an entertainer and explaining the grand vision on how Sony can expand in this. Jim Dance Moves Ryan comes up there. He's completely a numbers dude. He's been a numbers dude. He's always been a numbers dude, and there's no doubt in my mind that's the reason why Sony has been successful under his leadership. People don't want to believe that they're successful, but they have been successful. And they're constantly selling. They're doing different numbers, better numbers than when Shawn was in place. But at the same time, they're consolidating, closing down redundant, like you said, studios that should not be, which sucks, which the Japan studio was the like one of the ones to catch an axe. But a lot of those European studios got closed as well. You understand those things that made them successful? They are no longer
the diversity
the same
is that, yeah, diversity.
And you know what's the crazy? Let me get these super chats real quick. So Flame, Flame with the $2 super chat. I'm weirded out by the ray tracing with that Mario King. People still talking about that Mario, man. We got $5 super chat from Jared Mack, just showing live in support to the Lord. Salute, definitely appreciate it, man. Then we got a $10 super chat from Optimus Code Unchained, just showing support, brother. Definitely appreciate that. Look, here's my thing with this. I think Shawn definitely might be talking a little bit of, you know, a previous person that worked at Sony. I think that the difference between Shawn and the difference between someone like Phil Spencer is Shawn was in an environment where the company wasn't backing something like Game Pass. So he doesn't see the back hail numbers. He doesn't see, you know, the success that it's having, you know, behind the wall. So obviously someone like him would automatically come out and feel like it's not the answer, because his company that he worked for did not like that whatsoever. So, and you know, he himself has spoken out that he doesn't like subscription-based stuff. He likes, you know, relying strictly on the way that Sony has always done things. And I'm not saying that he's wrong, because I do feel like to a point, you know, there might be some form of truth behind what he's saying, but I'm saying from the numbers and what we see Game Pass, that kind of shows that he's wrong by itself. You know, clearly they're making money and they have a lot of faith behind the brand. Microsoft's able to spend the type of money is required to do something like Game Pass because they have the backing of Microsoft. And people always try to bring up old Microsoft. Old Xbox was never backed 100% like this by Microsoft, ever. Not one time in the entire time they've ever been around. Even when it came to something such as the 360, when they had to save it from the Red Ring of Death, they did that for the brand. They didn't do it to build up the brand. They did it to save the brand.
And make Microsoft look good, because Microsoft has always been hated. So that would, if they let that go, just like if they did it with the Zune and the Microsoft phone and all of that, then the problem would have been, you know, Xbox definitely wouldn't have recovered and Microsoft, the company itself would have been stained behind something like that. So they had to make that move with the Red Ring of Death.
And what I see the
Different
most,
people was in position. You say Steve Ballmer, who was a passionate individual,
Right.
made sure that, as you can see what he does with the LA Clippers,
Right.
he's a very, whatever he puts himself in, you want somebody that's in that position to give it their all. It was just a perfect storm when it came to that situation, that the wrong person wasn't in that position, because had it been someone like Don Metric, it would definitely just went under. It was different people that was in position at Microsoft that was working against the current flow of what we have now. You have the right people at the right time in position, and that's what happened. And now what you're seeing is people perceive Sony to have the wrong people in the right positions right now. I don't believe that to be true. I actually believe Jim Dance Move Ryan is going to do exactly what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make money for the company. He's bringing those titles over to PC. He's destroying those narratives that are actually holding the company back. The 10% of individuals that feel that their voice is the strongest, these are the people that feel that, oh, they have the best interest of PlayStation. No, you have the worst interest for PlayStation.
Absolutely.
All right. You're claiming exclusive. It's only exclusive to you when you buy it. Why do you care? Why should you care? Who else gets the chance to partake of your game at any place other than yourself? All right, so you're not going out buying millions, you're going out buying one, but you don't concern yourself with that one, you concern yourself with millions. That's why they always bring up numbers, because they feel that there's safety in numbers. No, I single you out because I see you as an individual. That doesn't work for the company. Jim knows what works for the company.
Yeah,
shout out to Nexus.
And it's like it's like
I
said.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like I said. I'd be talking to King and Cog. Like, what's gonna be funny is, like, people talk all the nonsense they want about Jim Dance with Ryan. We make jokes, but I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the PS5 if he made more money off the PlayStation brand than they've ever made in an entire generation.
No
like
doubt,
ever.
Because they're going to keep pushing this. It's going to get to where the Sony games will be coming out daily on PC. I see it.
That's no choice.
They have no choice, because the more and more that we talked about this on GRG. It's going to be pretty tough for Xbox to sustain 40 to 50 million this year. But by next year, it could definitely happen. And it can happen maybe in the first quarter. This is one of my thoughts, is like, people keep talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and why it's still not on Xbox yet. But if Phil Spencer and them have a trick up their sleeve, and they put that game on on Game Pass, in the first, second quarter, that's going to rake, and that's going to bring other people to be invested. And even for PlayStation fans who has an Xbox, they're going to double dip, and they're going to invest into Game Pass, even if they haven't invested at that point, because of the fact that they want to see it and play it and experience it. And then for people who's been asking for Final Fantasy VII Remake to come over, or eventually, I'm still saying, like, Sony will eventually go in there. I think Atlas is going another direction. They see where the money is, and that they can just start spreading the wealth all over to Nintendo, to now over PC 4, and they've seen how great Persona 4 is done. Game Pass is just it's the future. It's the next phase. It's something like when people are saying, well, $70 games, and then we're at people that was just we had the COVID situation last year, and we're still having the situation, and that's people that's still struggling. You're trying to ask for people to, people complain about EA and Activision and what they're doing, but I mean, you got some people still capping for the fact that Sony is still asking and requiring for you older games to pay $50, even if you pay on the version of Ghost of Tsushima, and or pay $70 all for it because you partake in buying a PlayStation 5 and probably traded in your PlayStation 4. And then on top of that, you're telling me that I got to pay an extra $10 to $20 because of haptic triggers? That was the whole reason why I bought the PlayStation 5 in the first place. So again, this is the thing to me.
Yeah, don't say that, man. I got destroyed for expecting my play. No, hold on. Let me rant for 15 seconds.
Go ahead, sir.
I got destroyed for just expecting the PlayStation to do what it was advertised for. And then people's like, "Hey, I get it. Codes in the chat. You bought the PS4 version, Addict. You didn't buy the PS5 version. Technically, I didn't buy either. Cognito did, but we ain't going into that. Like, look, at the end of the day, I do feel like, look, if you're going to buy a game after it's come out on another platform, such as the PS4 to the PS5, if you're buying it after it's dropped on the PS5, then you should have to pay that extra $10 because you're buying that PS5. But to me, if you're buying it on the PS4, Sony should just grandfather you into that, just because, first off, you're supporting their platform. When a lot, obviously a lot of people would buy PS5 if it's out by now, but a lot of like casual audience do not support day one console owners. So it's like, to me, I just felt like they were punishing you for upgrading. Like,
that's what it sounds like. To me, that I bought the deluxe edition. Our boy 108 Dragons, he said he bought the $200 version. Anybody who's paid the deluxe version, and I'm not even going to trip if you say I got to pay $10 extra for it. That's cool. If that's fine. I'm not going to, trip out on that. But I bought the deluxe edition. That was $80. And so then I got to pay another $20. That's $50 that I'm giving to Sony for an old game that I already have. And when I'm looking at the competition, it's giving me for free, and they're giving enhancements on that. And they're not saying, "Oh well, look, you know what I'm saying? We got these new controllers, and we want these new rumbles that we got in these new controllers, and the way that they and how accurate they feel. We're going to have to charge you another $10, $20. That's not good business, especially now when are still not out of the COVID situation, and just
that's because they're tone deaf to the economics of the individuals and the consumers that are actually purchasing their stuff. You got to look at the actual totality and the numbers of the Ghost of Tsushima game that's sold, right? So once you look at that, they say, how can we gouge those people? Because if we can get another 10% or 1 to 10% of them to pay $10 for the same game that they already purchased, that's already an install base that they can actually dig back into and receive more money from. Those practices are definitely anti-consumer, and what it does lead to, it leads to animosity and bitterness with that company, because all I'm listening to you guys is explain of how much money you put up front and then how much you're asking to be put in again. And you're looking at the competition, because it's only smart for you to look around and not have tunnel vision. You're looking at the competition, and the competition is saying, "Oh, you bought said game? Yo, this game comes out on our newer platform, and if you have this game already, it's called Smart Delivery." People thought Smart Delivery was just a catchphrase, and then realizing how smart it was and how smart it is, and how smart you need to be to partake in that situation, because you have to be some type of a weirdo to believe that it's smart to keep investing into the same product that you have already purchased. I want you to take that same mentality that every time you go to your refrigerator, anytime you put something inside your refrigerator, if you have to go and put $5 in your refrigerator, you will get rid of that refrigerator. If every time you got inside your car and you say, "Yo, I already paid my bill, my car is paid for, I don't need to pay anything else," and they said, "Oh, wait a second, there's a steering wheel fee." What the hell are you talking about? The steering wheel came with the car.
You know what the crazy thing is, King and K Mega? Like, when it comes to the games, we always is like, look, like, we need better quality games on Microsoft, and the reason we need that is because the competition, such as Sony's, making high quality games. But to me, I feel like, I don't, when it comes to like features and stuff like that, I feel like that energy isn't returned. Like, when you bring up something like that, they're like, well, just because Microsoft's doing that doesn't mean everyone needs to do that. And it's just like, look, like, we want everyone to do everything better. Like, not just games, features. We want the whole 9 yards. Like, we shouldn't demand one company to do something better because the other company does it better. And then when it's vice versa, when it comes to games, we expect Microsoft to make better games, but then when PlayStation's lacking on the features and Nintendo's lacking on the features, it's like, it's always just like, well, Microsoft's doing that, why should everyone have to do that? Or, it's just Nintendo. And I'm just like, how about everyone improves? You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is the thing that trips me out, though, fellas, is the fact that the same people that will cap for Ghost of Tsushima, for whatever that Sony's been doing with their older titles here lately, is the same people that will get mad and say, well, EA, they're charging you extra for ray tracing. Oh, EA, look at Battlefield. There's no single player experience. It's only just multiplayer. But then I guarantee you, when you'll be quick to pay that $70 for The Last of Us 2 online only game that's going to be coming out. So what's the difference? So again, if you're going to keep that energy, you got to keep it for everything. You're absolutely right. It just blows my mind that so many people just take a narrative and then they run with it, and then they keep running into the same wall. But eventually, the wall is going to win. You're going to fall down because you just kept running into the same wall.
You know what this is?
It's crazy.
You know what this is equivalent of? This is equivalent of Microsoft selling you Gears of War 5, and then they're like, oh, when Microsoft's selling you backwards compatible games, oh, we need that $5 for that auto HDR. We need that $5 for that boost mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, just because the platform does it naturally, just like the PS5 does the haptic feedback naturally, and the 3D all naturally, does not mean that you should be. But you get what I'm saying? Like, the platform does it. Oh, you get what I'm saying? I was getting there, man. I was saying that just because something like that happens does not mean that you should have to
wait till
go and actually buy it. But let me get these super chats real quick, because Coates sent a long super chat, so I'm assuming he has some slander. So we got a $5 super chat from Toto. Dope. I just got my Iron Lord's hat. Thanks, guys. I love it. Definitely appreciate it, man. We definitely got some good merchandise. You have to thank King David down there for all that, because
we working on the
cool
new
story.
New merch rollout is coming.
Cool story. This is some shame on Addict thing. I was against the merchandise when it first brought up. I was like, we ain't big enough to be doing that. We shouldn't be spending the money. And what's funny is, most of the time I let the lords rock it, man. I don't really care for the majority of the stuff, but I pushed back hardcore for the merchandise, and I lost. But because I lost that particular thing,
y'all winning now for that.
How the shirts and everything blew up. Now it's just like I give King full reins. Oh, King wants to do it, it's fine. Like,
what he really hated was the fact that I purchased 200 T-shirts, got them made, got them done, and gave them all out for free.
You was doing that at E3.
Yeah, no, that's the time we're talking about. That's the particular time we're talking about.
I was like, what the hell? Yo, I mean, the bottom line,
that was before. That was
price. We wasn't making a nickel.
Yeah, that was before the podcast really brought in money. So that came out of our pockets. Well, their pockets. I didn't come out of that. But you know,
that's when you're in a position to invest in yourself. You got to believe in yourself and invest in yourself. And like Microsoft has been doing, they have been investing in themselves.
And you know what's crazy? We saw people do, like, you know, the Q&A things at E3. We saw people with our shirts on doing Q&As.
Out of control. Beautiful.
So we got a $10 super chat from Optimus Code Unchained. All right, here we go. Let me go ahead and read this. If you bought a DVD and that same movie comes out on Blu-ray, should that studio give you the Blu-ray for free? Did any of y'all not upgrade your movie collection from DVD? Did they give them to you for free? So, King...
Oh, can I answer that, please?
Yes, you can answer that.
Yeah. Cole, do you, baby? You know, $70? Do you, baby? $80? Do you, baby? I don't ever, never, ever do I ever pocket watch what you choose to be okay for you. What you choose to be okay for you is fantastic. I'm speaking for the masses here. I'm speaking for the people that's in my DM that's crying. I'm speaking for those individuals. Now, a lot of people didn't upgrade to that Blu-ray from that DVD. A lot of people saw it and said, no, I'll buy the new movie when it came out. Same thing when you upgraded to a 4K Blu-ray player. Did you switch your information over there to get the next one? Some companies gave you the upgraded version for free. Some people didn't.
And I don't.
And hold on, because you know, it's this mentality and this narrative that feels that what's good for one is good for all. What's good for you is not good for everybody else. So if you feel that you want to equate it to that situation, that's good. So then don't ever let me see you complaining with Sony continue to ramrod you with everything that they choose to do, because you are choosing to accept it. You guys are paying $70 for games where the competition is not forcing anyone to do anything of that matter. So if the competition isn't, and Sony is trying to push the industry only for their game, does that benefit you, or is it at your detriment? And when will you wake up to see that you are being taken advantage of? You cannot force a simp to realize that he's being a simp for someone that doesn't care for him.
Right. And then also another point to this is that this is the reason why for that strategy of what he's talking about, what Code is talking about. And shout out to Code. I appreciate him when my mom was in the hospital and he gave a shout out, man. So I appreciate that. But I do have to say this as well, is that this is what brought competition. This is what made people say, nah, I'm not going to pay that $200, $300, $400, $500 for this Blu-ray player. I'm just going to go ahead and go to Redbox. I'm just going to go ahead and go to Blockbuster. And then eventually Netflix came around, and then when they was giving out DVDs for a service fee, people started jumping over it, clamoring over it. So that's what's going on right now. The old way of how Sony and gaming used to be is fading. And now services, and I said this a couple of years back. I said this back on multiplayer, when I was over there with Porter Rock and on Z and all them. I was listening. What's coming up here is going to be services, and you know what I'm saying, it's going to be services. Services is going to be a new form of way to kind of counteract what Mark Cerny and Amy Hennig both said in an article, basically talking about saying, look, games are costing so much. And also Shawn Layden said the same thing in this article, basically like gaming, we're at a position to where gaming is now going up to if you want to make a big AAA experience, it's going to be up to like $200 million. When Mark Cerny and Amy Hennig was bringing this up, talking about single player experiences, is that they want people to play their products and be invested. We have to find another way to get people involved into that. And what you see now is what Xbox is pushing forward. That's just evolution. And you know what's going to happen? There's going to be other companies that's going to jump forward. If not, if Sony can't do this, then Sony's in big, big trouble. They had the opportunity. Sony struck blood first when they brought PlayStation Now. The point of it is that they got greedy and they didn't think about the long term. They always talk about the acceptance of what was going on because of the old way of how gaming was. It's all changed now. The game has evolved, and now Sony is looking at everybody else already catched up, if not going to surpass them when it comes to the technology aspect of it. People can still keep talking about these single player experiences all they want to, but if they keep costing $200 some million, then you're going to see a lot less of them.
The flaw in the PlayStation Now, they struck first. The flaw in the PlayStation Now, that it wasn't downloadable.
Right.
They added that later, so you had a perceived latency and things. It was more of like an xCloud feel to it, where that infrastructure wasn't ready yet.
No.
So PlayStation Now struggled. The thought was there was too many generations ahead. And somebody looked at that flawed philosophy and said, if we make it downloadable and then later on we can revisit that whole cloud-based infrastructure at another point when we are better, that's the Azure cloud situation, we can actually be in a position to take advantage of that. And I think when they purchased Gaikai, their thoughts were so far ahead. They was trying to push the technology forward and noticed that it was being held back by said technology. And that technology is old at this moment. That's why they have enlisted the help of Microsoft to help them with their cloud-based situation, to get them into a position where they can actually take advantage of their vast library and their great titles. So I think the planning stages are happening. I think they're because you notice that they have local download on PlayStation Now stuff now. It should be more robust. It should be on every title and not limited titles. But I think they're revisiting the strategy when it comes to that PlayStation Now, because they do have an install base and they would love to take advantage of it. And I think they're trying to explore ways to keep it active and to get it better.
First thing I want to say is let me address what Code said. I don't think that's even a fair statement to even like compare it to, because to me, DVDs was way before Blu-rays, and you know you can. We're talking about games on like a singular thing. Like, to me, that's different hardware. That's a different data storage. Like, that's not the same. Like, for the most part, and I think for every part, you can't upgrade a DVD to a Blu-ray with an update. So to me, I don't feel like that's a fair comparison, Code. Like you can't.
That's why I just didn't pay it any mind.
Yeah, but you know we still got to talk about it.
No,
Well,
I mean, I answered it, but
Yeah.
I just didn't pay it any mind because it was just, you know, it's you swinging at the air for no reason. You're not going to make contact with something that makes no sense. If two people standing in the way and you're talking to somebody who's making no sense, and from a distance, you're just going to see two people that's making no sense talking. I refuse to engage in conversations that don't make any sense. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No, and then on top of that, the fact of it is, if Sony was doing exactly what Xbox was doing with this, everybody would be praising this. Even we would all on this panel would have to praise this and wonder
I would
why
have actual
Microsoft
PlayStation now.
Right.
And it's like,
so
well,
I mean, that's the difference. Is that to me is that look, you can swing at the fences all you want to. Logic tells you that Sony, since they made the first move going in this direction, they should have had all their ducks in a row and prepared to take the hit, but then eventually been paying the dividends. Just think about what PlayStation would have been right now if they went this same way that Xbox is doing back then. And now, since everybody's internet most likely is well, not everybody, but most people's internet is catched up, things of this nature, PlayStation would be totally dominant. Xbox would be in deep trouble in a sense, you know. So that's just how this ball rolls. So yeah, no, I totally agree. King is absolutely right.
Let me address some stuff in the chat. Look, Code can come in here. He can give his own opinion. No one got to attack the man in the chat. Code always in here every week giving his opinion. Sure, some of them are out of this world opinions, but he is in here always wanting to give some kind of feedback. Sure, some feedback is out of this world, so try to keep it a little bit respectful in that chat with him. So let me please. He super chatted LOL. So let me get these super chats. We got a $2 super chat from King One Supreme. Code cool. King, you should go on Heartache Show with Code. Then we got a $5 super chat from Joe.
That's not something that you're gonna catch me doing. I'm regal. I don't do that.
Yeah, you really don't see King on too many shows at all.
I go on shows where I support the platform for certain things. Certain things I just don't. You don't hear me curse.
Yeah,
you don't hear a lot of things. At the
end of the day, like if it doesn't make sense for the brand,
if my children can't watch it, you won't see me on it.
Yeah, and then we got a $5 spread from Gerald Mack. At this point, the cap for PlayStation is pure survival mode. I refuse to believe that their blind loyalty doesn't allow them to see Valve's survival mode. Look, I don't even know how to take that. Like, are you saying that they're capping for PlayStation's pure survival mode? Because I would kind of agree with you a little bit, because I feel like no matter what he's
saying is, the PlayStation dudes is in survival mode, so they're grasping at straws. You know, if you throw somebody over a ship, they're gonna grab anything to float with to stay alive. I feel that. I understand that, and it's absolutely the truth. They will grasp at anything to hold on to it until they can get that AAA bang and it actually hits to justify their purchase. Listen, a lot of people purchase that PlayStation 5 above market value, and they're trying to justify their purchase at any point in time. And I agree with you. You should feel like nobody wants to pick a loser. Nobody wants to pick anything that doesn't show them their value immediately. They're having a hard time saying, why are these Xbox dudes so happy and there's no first party games? There's none of that stuff. We have this stuff. We are happier than you are. Why are they so happy? Why they're championing this stuff? Because we see value in our purchase. The reason why you're looking over and you have the time to do so is because you do not see value in your purchase.
Remember those lists?
The problem is.
Remember last year?
Yeah, remember the list?
All those lists?
Some
all
lists?
those games? Yeah. We haven't seen no lists.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and
you
what's
see the list
crazy
coming from Xbox
is
now.
we're at the end of July and still no announcement for a Sony E3 kind of conference. Well,
it came out.
Let me just go. We got the $5 super chat from Optimus Code. He just put LOL. Look, man, you know how we are, Code.
He's trying to stir the pot.
If you are saying off the wall shit that makes no sense, we are going to give you straight facts and shoot that down, man. I'm sorry that you try to climb the ladder, and then we what's that game?
Kick the ladder.
We didn't even kick the ladder. We let you come up on top of the ladder, and we just pushed you back down. Like, you're gonna have to come at us with a little bit more better logic to me than that. But
Now talk to me when God of War comes out. God bless.
So let's go ahead and move on. I think we butchered that to death. The Coalition. Obviously, I personally feel like they put the Xbox brand on their back the whole Xbox One generation, and clearly
I can agree with that.
they're taking a little bit of a break in terms of Gears, but it looks like since they have their hands on the Unreal Engine, they're going to go ahead and make a different type of game. We don't know what it is. We don't know the scale it's going to be. It is going to be on a smaller scale than Gears, but that can mean anything because Gears is a huge game. So what I want to ask you guys is, I think we can all agree that we want their best talent. At the end of the day, regardless how we feel about 343 and Halo Infinite, maybe not necessarily now, but back then, that's still some of their best talent. Coalition, still some of their best talent. We've always stated that we want them to make more different types than just the Gears and the Halos. Do you think it's an issue that they're not going to finish that trilogy before they start something new? Or do you think that, because I feel like with this, we might not see a Gear 6 till like 2026, 2025. How do you guys feel about this? I'm going to start with K-Mega.
I feel fine about that. And I've said that. I've been on the record of saying that, look, let Gears take a break. Keep building on what they're doing with Gears 5's multiplayer. I mean, the more and more. And then also, just if they feel like it, bring more DLC, because Hivebusters was absolutely amazing. For people who have not played Hivebusters, I'm telling you, it's not that long of a game, but it is visually one of the best looking games that you could see this gen, hands down.
And you know what, K-Meg, I got to interrupt you real quick. I have to bring this up here every time anyone brings up Hivebusters. When Gears 5 first came out, what's the number one critique? Man, this is a good game, but it's just Gears, more Gears. Like, we want something different. But then when Gears Hivebusters come out, them same people's like, totally Hivebusters is fire. Hey, K-Mega, hey, King, would it be fair to say that Hivebusters is more like Gears than Gears 5 is?
Yeah.
That just blows my mind. Like, no one's consistent. You go ahead and continue, K-Mega. I just had to bring that up.
I just love the direction of what they did. And of course, with the whole situation where people watching, the He-Man or the Masters of the Universe, and then, people get upset because of support characters getting some love. I love the fact that that's what they were doing with Gears. That's what I want them to do with Halo, is give the support characters a lot more love. And even though this was a small short entry, and then also when you look at Gears Tactics, which wasn't a small entry, but still a really good game, just a different type of genre game. That's build. That character building is something that we need. But again, if they're going to do something, which I've been thinking that maybe this could be that they might be trying to do that Shanghai Nights or something of that nature, I am all for that. I'm never against anybody that wants to do something different within whatever that they normally do. I just am not one of the type to be like with 343. Well, 343 needs to be something. If 343 wants to just do nothing and just stick with Halo without them being forced to it, if they're forced to do it, that's different. If they're not forced, and not all they want to do is Halo, then let them do that. If the Coalition got the opportunity to want to do something different, then let them do that. I have no problem with that. So yeah, I think the Gears need to take a break, because this is the time now where Xbox is getting all the eggs in the basket, and it's going to have plenty of other content to throw in between. They didn't have that luxury last gen, and this gen now going forward, and especially with the stuff with Game Pass, there's plenty of content that will wet the palate until another Gears come out. And actually, what you want to do is wait. That's why I'm really excited about what Turn 10 is going to do with Forza 7. Is because of the fact that they is it Forza 7? Oh no, it's just Forza Motorsport. With Forza Motorsport, because they're taking enough time to build, and then they're letting everything else just do their thing. So yeah, I think that I wouldn't be mad about it at all. And if they want to do something different, that's fine. I commend them for it.
That's what's up. So first off, let me I switched the layout a little bit. I want the chat's opinion. What do you guys think look better, this one or the one that's currently using? Let's go ahead and get this super chat real quick before King spits the book of X, because I have a feeling, got a $5 super chat from Marvin Ginyard. I think I got that. I don't know. Shawn is forgetting that Microsoft is operating off a $1 trillion budget, substantially only affecting those below them. Definitely understand that, man. All right, so King, how do you feel about whether or not they might not be making Gears right now, or are they making Gears in a few years from now?
Well, like you stated, they put the Xbox brand on their back. Them in Turn 10, it was really Gears in the Forza franchise with Forza Horizon, and Forza and Gears actually keeping them afloat. Halo 5 didn't hit like how everybody expected it to hit. So 343 was kind of looked at with the snide eye, and they have more to prove than those two studios, Turn 10 Playgrounds or the Coalition. You felt that those three studios actually did more than 343 when it came to holding the Xbox brand afloat. So you get some form of clout, right? Guerrilla Games held Sony up for a long period of time, and they were given carte blanche under Shawn and Layden to pursue a title that they felt very passionately about. And you got Horizon. Without Shawn's foresight and Guerrilla Games actually working to push that title forward, because they were there at the forefront for every Sony launch and supporting them and fixing stuff with Killzone, they actually gave them the ability to make something that they were passionate about. And you got Horizon, and Horizon is a fantastic title that we were skeptical about in the beginning, because we felt that a first-person shooter studio shouldn't be making a third-person game, and we didn't know what would happen, and what it would be. For some people it hit, for some people it didn't hit, but overall the majority of people loved the title, and they made a character that is synonymous with a lot of their iconic characters in their stable. I believe that the Coalition should be afforded the same luxury. I believe that they have done the same, if not more so than Guerrilla Games as far as the Xbox brand goes. And they should be given the ability, and they should be given the budget to make either a large title or a small title to show what they can do and diversify their portfolio, to show that their value to Microsoft isn't just Gears. So when you do walk into the studio and you do hear the name The Coalition, you do see different titles that pop up, and they can show the versatility within all the developers that they do have making their games, all the coders, everybody that's working hard. They want to show diversity, because I'm pretty sure they get it around the board. Oh, the Coalition, the Gears team. So you don't want to be just known as a one-trick pony. You want to be known as a diverse studio. With that being said, I don't care how long it takes for them to do another Gears game. I think right now, as we've been talking about the diversity inside Game Pass, knowing that all their games is day and date inside Game Pass, you need that space to breathe. K Mega said that the next Forza Motorsports has them peaked and intrigued, because they're taking a break off to give you more and to really bite down, and it doesn't feel like a Madden type of situation where every year it's just a minor update or minor iteration, that you don't really get that chance to breathe in between titles to actually give you everything that you want to put in. Because we've noticed and we found out through EA that these Madden titles don't get the full breadth of all the stuff that's on the board, and stuff has to be cut down into order to make deadlines, artificial deadlines. The Game Pass structure takes away that artificial deadline. It removes it from the individuals. Now, there's an artificial deadline for Halo, but you notice that was shattered when it didn't reach expectations, because they said whenever it does drop, it will be in Game Pass, and we want a good title to a great title instead of a mediocre title. So I think Game Pass gives them carte blanche to do so, and I think the Coalition is hitting at the right time, and they earned it. they earned everything that they get. So they should be allowed the carte blanche to make a title. And I think it's going to be fantastic, regardless to what, because I think their work is great.
Oh yeah, I do. I want to kind of throw something in here too on top of that. Okay, so like you just mentioned Madden, and I'm going to throw NBA 2K into this as well. Like, I wonder if what Ubisoft is doing with Assassin's Creed, what is it called, Infinite, that's supposed to be coming out. I wonder if that turns out to be pretty successful, will Madden and NBA 2K do one of these things where they take the time and take a maybe 2-year hiatus, kind of like what Battlefield does, 2-3 year hiatus, kind of give entry every year. Like, I mean, you get an update for those 2-3 years, but then they come with a more dominant product, and they still can throw everything else that they can still make their money off of. I think that would be more beneficial, because I feel you. Like, I get Madden every year. I've been getting Madden every year ever since 1994. So, but for this time, this first time, I might not pull the trigger, because
I stopped purchasing Madden.
Yeah,
I still got that video of you and Tim.
Yeah. So,
So
so to me, it's kind of like, you know what? I get this, but then when I'm looking at all the benefits of what we're seeing from Game Pass. Game Pass has kind of changed and evolved my whole thought process about how gaming is in the first place. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care about games as a service as some people may think. They're so afraid of it. I think that would be the best strategy to do. If not, at least make it a free to play. So. Yeah, with a sports title that you know that every year they're going to be doing this. If you could go free to play, or if you could go and do what Assassin's Creed is thinking about, what Ubisoft's going to do. Okay, so I think it'd be a possibility.
The only reason why that won't happen is because Madden has a monopoly on the NFL license. Right. So in having a monopoly, you get to dictate, because you don't only shop in town. That's like if you're the only person that sell hamburgers, everybody must see you if they want to eat that meat. Pause. Right. So Madden knows what it has. So Madden is going to constantly go to the well in the manner that it does, and it gives minor iterations and removes stuff that you love. Like they remove something that you love, and you're like, man, I used to love that, the front line block, and how you can control that, and you can just actually make a hole here. But they changed it with something else, and they took away the cone. And when they started changing year to year to make senseless changings, I left. That was it for me. So at the same time, I understand your frustration, but I'm from a business aspect. If they had competition, it would force change.
Right.
It won't. They don't have competition, so change will not happen, because change doesn't need to happen.
I think that first off, let me go ahead and get these super chats real quick before they get too out of control. We got a $2 super chat from Everborn Saga. What's good, players? Definitely Everborn.
Yeah, I'll be on Real to Real this week. We got to talk about that Masters of the Universe. Exactly. You must go show support to Everborn. Get out there, purchase his stuff. Get that man patron his wares. But I'm gonna be on Real to Real this week.
Gotta support people, man. Gotta show them that what they do and is what needs to be done and what you like seeing. And I've always been one of the biggest people, support people that are good, because I don't want to build people for bad expectations, if that makes sense to you. Like, he's good content. Go support him, man. Go support K Mega too. Great podcast, especially me and Cog, especially, we be talking in Xbox Live parties. It'll be like, man, K Mega, he's streaming them that fight night thing, man. Gotta go there and support that, man. We got a $2 stream.
Hey, Megatron came in there and dusted us in old school Street Fighters. In Street Fighter, he beat my ass. He beat Lemon. He beat Yobi. I was like, what? And then he was just laughing the whole time.
Was it kind of like how I did you in Naruto?
Hey, man, watch out now. Yeah, now I got to get some revenge on Naruto. Listen, I'll see you some Tekken, some Killer Instinct, some, what I'm saying?
And I ain't messing with you with none of that stuff, okay?
Man.
You come in my kingdom. I'm not coming in yours. So we got a $2 shipment from Michael, a.k.a. Bedstead's Finest. Shout out to King. Salute, bro. Xbox for life. And then we got a $5 super chat from Optimus Code Unchained. King is spot on about Coalition making what's passionate to them. He finally said something that's true.
God bless. Thank you. If
So-
you listen more, you hear more.
Here's how I feel about it. I don't mind them doing it. If they want to do it, then do it. To me, I would actually prefer them to finish Gear 6 because I'm really invested into that story at this point. But I understand, maybe it's better for the brand if we see what they can make that's not Gears, even if it's a smaller project. And then, Gear 6 could be better because now they know that system a little bit better, that engine a little bit better. So when they do make Gear 6 you get a better product. But
you saw the alpha that went out.
Yeah, but I'm greedy. I want my shit now. I don't want to wait later.
I don't. They just showed you the
time.
test. Yeah. They just showed you the test alpha.
And I get that, but I'm still...
And it wasn't representative.
Look, man, I don't got access to the emotes, or I'd put Addicts World all up on this stuff right now, but I don't got access to it.
So look at what they did with 4. They can still bring something out off of Unreal Engine 4, and look at what they did with Hive Busters. Like they can still get more juice out of that engine. So they remind me of Turn 10. They're masters at their craft at what they do, man.
Yeah, it's just these dudes, these developers need to gain the mastery of these new hardwares. They don't want the same old, because what I've noticed that everybody talks about, they see this generational leap. I don't. You're gonna tell me that these games they haven't reached their peak yet. So, the Ratchet and Clank, it looked great. Go back and see Ratchet and Clank when it launched on the PlayStation 4. That looked great too.
It looked amazing,
so these are marginable increments going forward. You have more fur shading here, you have this and you have that. We won't really see what these systems is capable of until mid-gen. When we hit the mid-gen, when we start to get those titles that are actually, all the development tools, they're still telling you monthly, if not weekly, new development tools are being released for both consoles, because both consoles are essentially the same. There are smaller things that's inside of them that differentiates between the two, but new tools are being released for these guys. We haven't seen an Unreal Engine 5 game yet. So in the wild, we've just seen demos, we've seen them use assets and stuff like that. So we have dreams of this stuff going forward, but we actually need to see them going forward. So when we got your hair, you're crazy with nuts just then. But when we actually see the Unreal Engine 5 in all its glory, then you start to see the true mastery of these systems, because what these systems really do is calculate at a high rate, and they deliver fast information, but they don't need to use all the computing power of the last consoles, because the tool sets are made in the sense that you will get all of that fidelity at a lower impact to the GPU and the CPU. So you're going to start seeing AI done in different areas. You're going to see car physics in different things. It's going to change the way that we play, but we're just not at that space yet. We're going to get there, but these games that we've seen so far, it's still just last gen games with an up gen refresh.
I agree. And we've got a $2 super from Shroom Kingdom. Put Gears to sleep, please. The series has Insomniac. To me, actually, I actually really dig where the Gears franchise is right now. I know I'm the minority in this, but I really enjoyed the story they're telling with Kate. The only issue I had with Gears 5 was the sand area. That's all. I felt like Act 1 was good.
You didn't like the sand area?
I did not like the sand area. I think you could have literally took that. Besides the boss at the end with the rocket thing, you could took that whole thing and just put it out of the game. I would have been fine. No. But I really enjoyed the first act. I enjoyed the second act. And it's like the third act was horrible, but compared to the second act with the snow, it was far lacking. And then I really enjoyed Act 4. I don't understand when we get this concept that Gears 5 was even an average game. I felt like it was a great game. I actually felt like it was a couple points shy of where I personally would have liked to have been in the Metacritic score. I think it deserved an 87, 88, but that is what it is. Metacritic score is not everything.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I just enjoyed where they're going with it, and I'd be really disappointed. To me, I wanted to see that conclusion, and that was just me. I understand I'm not everyone, and I understand people want newer things from these companies. Like I said, it's their best. It's the best studios that they have. maybe they should make something new. But let's go on to our last topic, man. Let's get this $5 subscription from Godzilla. I butchered your name, man. I don't think I did, but we're going to say I did. Y'all need to make a 4-hour-long song that plays on starting screen. Always pop in my head when I listen to it, especially surround sound. Man, shout out to, man, I keep forgetting his name. Who did that one again?
Dallas.
Yeah, there it is. Shout out to Dallas. You guys need to go check him out. If you need any kind of stuff like that made. He obviously we promo it every Sunday at 1 p.m. Definitely go check out the Iron Lords podcast every Sunday at 1 p.m. We promo it all the time at the starting soon screen. You definitely need to go check that out. But let's talk about, I feel like is the highlight of this topic. We have Death's Door coming out as like an 86, 87 Metacritic because PlayStation people love talking about that Metacritic score. And boy, we got you some Metacritic scores. Like Death's Door 86, 87. I don't know where it is now. And it's looking like Flight Simulator going to be a 90-plus game. We probably going to get a Horizon Forza Horizon 5 90-plus game. I would say Halo's going to be in the mid-80s. Depending on how that story hits. If that story hits, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a 90-plus game, but that story is what really is the question mark, the variable there. What I want to ask you guys, and I think that, this is something that a lot of people have fear with when it comes to Game Pass, is that Game Pass filler. Now, I'm not going to say every game in Game Pass is phenomenal, but I'm saying that in terms of what the first party's doing in their timed exclusives that they have, because I assume Death's Door is going to come to all platforms eventually. I'm seeing a high quality come out of that wall, and I don't think you can fairly say that. I think Microsoft has successfully cut that 69 Metacritic score out of their slate. I think it's been there for a while. I feel like for a while we've gotten pretty high quality stuff. Last year, Wasteland 3 was like an 86, 87. There's been a lot of good games coming out of that platform. So I want to ask you guys do you think that with these highly rated games coming out of Game Pass, do you think that's going to eventually lead to, the subscription service leaving that, Game Pass only has bad games in it or, lowly rated games? Because to me, I see, especially going into the future, Fable, Avowed, I see none of those being low rated games whatsoever. I see high quality. I feel like now, the longer time goes on, we're going to see more high-quality games. And Game Pass is going to be that place that you could go just to play the greatest games in the platform. King, what's your thoughts on this?
I don't really pay attention to Metacritic scores because it's like asking somebody to chew my food for me. So what I might find really good, somebody else may hate. Like, I really like Crackdown because that's how Crackdown is for me. I like, going into nooks and crannies. And
I actually really wish they would have put all their time that they put into that multiplayer into that single player. And I thought that Crackdown single player was so good.
It was
the
amazing. Music, everything. Yeah.
I was having such a great time with it. So a lot of times I'm diametrically opposed to whatever Metacritic says, even for the PlayStation or for Nintendo and stuff like that. I don't really care for it. But to your point, and for the people that do care for it, I think Game Pass has shown you right now. I think if you go through Game Pass, you go game by game, and you start looking at the Metacritic scores for each game, you're going to notice that the average is probably like an 80 all the way through. And I'm being very generous, with that 80 because it's probably higher than that. And I say this to say, Game Pass is not going to be the place where low-rated games live and is permeated with low-rated games. The studios that are purchased and the level of talent explains that water will reach its level. Water will actually rise to where it's supposed to be. So if you have that much talent given enough time, then before, I don't think they had the time, and I don't think they had enough studios to give them that time to make these games and polish these games in a manner that they needed to be, because they were always chasing the dragon, which Sony had a longer tooth in the game. Don't forget, Sony were growing to the space that they were. They didn't have games that can challenge Nintendo games at that period of time when they were growing into that space. So what did they do? They leveraged their diversity, they leveraged their storage capacity, they leveraged different things to gain a foothold in that space, and they gave their titles time to breathe. You know, Uncharted didn't start off fantastic. Uncharted got to fantastic by them reinvesting into those titles. So Microsoft is doing the same thing. What y'all think is Xbox and PlayStation came out at the same time. They didn't. PlayStation is a older, stronger brand because it came out before and it had that ability to grow into that space. Microsoft is actually growing into that space. Phil Dominus, Maximus Aurelius Spencer reign will be known as the reign that solidified Microsoft footing into this position. And when they become the absolute market leader, then you will understand who did that for you and why it happened, because it was that dude's vision that came from the bottom of the company to raise to the highest level in that company that cared about that company. Remember that same thing when you look over at Jim Dance Moves Ryan and Shawn is on the outside looking in, because Shawn raised PlayStation to where it was. Those glory days in PlayStation was under Shawn. Shawn grew up in that company. Shawn made that company to what it was. So Microsoft will definitely have those titles, those bangers. They're going to come. They will be there, but you needed time to get there. I think they have time, the money, and the developers to start averaging 90s inside that Metacritic for those people that care about that stuff.
Yeah, so how you feel about this game, man? Because I know, like, you know, I'm with King. I don't really care too much about the Metacritic score thing, but I
Right.
do feel like in terms of the industry, a lot of people do. And I think that, you know, I don't think people go to like GameStop and, oh, I don't know if I buy this Call of Duty. Let me see what the Metacritic score is. But I do feel like, you know, in terms of, you know, the reviewers that do it, the industry that does it, the publishers that does it, the reviewing sites like IGN, GameSpot that do it, I feel like that in terms of the hardcore casual audience, they do have their ear to that pulse. And how do you feel about this, K-Man?
Yeah, no, I was trying to look for something that I posted in the GRG DM. I can't find it right now, but it was basically showing the chart of how many Game Pass games has been available and how many that are going to be leaving and how many that's gone. So it was like up to almost 500 games, and the rating. And I believe I posted it on Twitter about maybe almost a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago or so, that they have way more higher rated games than they do the games that are 60 plus. So everything that was just stated before was absolutely correct. The thing to me is the importance of diversity, variety. Mm-hmm. This is what made the 360 great as it was. Variety is what made the PlayStation as great as it was. Once you get to a point to where you just only have to lean on your greatest games, it becomes stale. It's just no different than anything from movies, from music, anything else. It's just kind of like how I look at the rap game now, and I'm listening to there's a little something everywhere, a little baby, little Uzi, little whatever, and it all sounds the same. There's very little variety in the music that I used to, and I still love hip hop, but it's just not the same to me. And the more and more that you have people that they love God of Wars, they love the Ratchet and Clanks, they love the Horizon Zero Dawns. But by the time that you get to Horizon Zero Dawn 4, and then you got God of War, how many, and Ratchet and Clank, how many, and it's going to get to a point to where people are going to start looking and saying, I need to start getting my variety from somewhere else. And that's why when you have these low rated games or whatever that, Microsoft, that was already, King David already said that eloquently. He said that correctly. They were behind the 8 ball. They were just trying to catch up. Phil Spencer, for me, I love Jack Tretton from PlayStation. I thought that dude had the swag. He gave PlayStation everything that's why that made me a diehard PlayStation dude back in those days. Once Jack Tretton left, it kind of changed, but they still kept that diversity. Now you're starting to see it creep that they're more about the dollar than they are about the diversity. And what I see Phil Spencer is in that same realm as Jack Trent. Has a different type of swag, got that hunger, got something different about him that is needed for the Xbox brand. And to revitalize the Xbox brand to the way to its greatness of the 360 is having diverse games. And 9 times out of 10, the casual market do not care about Metacritic scores. They care about what games give them the most fun. And that is the most important thing in all. Like when people go and look, and I'm thinking like Wet, for instance, that was on the 360. Loved Wet. That game had a horrible rating, but that game was still fun to a lot of people. I believe that Dante's Inferno didn't get a great rating, but a lot of people love Dante's Inferno. Those type of games, those AA indie type of titles, those are what is the missing component in order to get people to invest into your platform. It's the AAA bangers are always going to it's going to attract, but it's the overall diversity that gets people to say, oh man, I remember this game, I remember that game, this game, like the Ubisoft game that got discontinued. It came back. It was from the movie. I can't think of the name of it right now. It was a beat 'em up like Dragon, like Double Dragon. What was that? Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim. Yeah. Scott Pilgrim. That game, like people was clamoring about that game. That game is not something that would sell a console, but it's something that would get people to be invested if that was an exclusive. It's no different than like you look at this game right here. I just booted it up because I got to give a shout out to Jay Bash. He sit there and hooked me up with it with Death's Door. So I'm like, I told him I was going to play it, but I was playing Flight Simulator mostly all day today. So I just
downloaded that game.
Which one? Death's Door?
No, Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, man! I was all in the training, man. It made me feel like I was at work. I was like,
I ain't never been to King's part of the country. I might have to fly over there with the plane.
With the right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that plane. Yeah, we'll have to go out there. But that's the thing to me is that Xbox is giving something that's more valuable than just a rating, and that is the diversity. That is the most important thing for any gamer out there. That's why I still clamor for more fighters, for more hack and slash, because and some more JRPGs. Xbox is now seeming to go into that direction and bring more of that variety, while PlayStation seems to be wanting to try to hold on to what was great at one particular time, or what is great for them at this particular time, and kind of push away those games that like Gravity Rush and the Last Guardian, things like that, which I feel that's a mistake overall. So the ratings, the Metacritic thing, it doesn't bother me whatsoever either. I think that's overrated, overblown.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that. So let's go ahead. Let's read this super chat. We got to find out. This is interesting. I actually had people tweeting me this live. I guess this was just announced that $5 from Christopher Jezer. I definitely we'll move on past that. We got a company CEO. What's the CEO's name again? I always butcher his name. Satya.
Yeah.
He said he made the claim during the company's fourth quarter earnings call on Tuesday. The Xbox Series S and X is the fastest selling Xbox consoles.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how
Little Man is selling more than people think.
Right. It is.
You think I think they built more Little Mans too.
Well, the thing of it is that when I got Little Man, which was just about a month and a half ago, for my wife, which my wife is not a gamer. That should tell you something right there, because she wants to play Flight Simulator.
Right.
She don't even care about like gaming like that, but she wanted to play Flight Simulator. But when I was there at the store, there were so many people that was in there to get Xbox Series X because they want the biggest and best. But then they said, well, we still have this many Series S's available. Then there were some people that was like, no, man, you got to let me know when you can come with an Xbox Series X. But there were some people was like, well, what's the difference? And then the people was pretty accurate about, the Series S and what it could do. And so there was people that was buying them. So that, and so what some of those people will do is that they'll get it, and then they'll probably trade up to get a Series X. But to get into to get the gateway to the next gen with a $399 console. Well, not even $399. I'm sorry, it's $300. With tax, it's $327, and if you add the 2-year warranty, it's $257. I mean, $357. So you're winning. You're winning regardless. So of course it's gonna sell. It's just like what I said earlier.
The biggest thing with it is this: if you're purchasing an Xbox Series X and you plug it into your television and it's not hitting all those boxes, because there's boxes in the back, right? Those green boxes, check marks. All right. If your joint ain't gonna hit those check marks, then don't waste your money.
Absolutely.
Get Xbox Series S. Get Little Man. Little Man gonna check off all those boxes. So they have more 120 frames per second games than the competition. Little Man is actually punching above his weight, and
way above his weight.
When these tool sets start to hit, because I have a lot of dudes. I mean, I have Little Man. Actually, I got to pick up another one. Actually, I got to pick up 2 more. But because I have a television that's downstairs, I happen to unfortunately pick up the greatest 1080p television, the last one made by Shawn. You know, it's quad color, it's greatest, but it's not a 4K television. So why the hell would I put an Xbox Series X in that? I will put Little Man on it, and Little Man will run rings around that television, and that's what he's made for. So people got to understand their circumstances and then look at their finances, and their finances will dictate exactly where their motivation should lie. You know, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Of course. What fits your narrative. Stop worrying about everybody else's.
And that's the whole point of with like, okay, you know, I'm an Xbox centric gamer, you know, I mean, but I have PlayStation, I have Nintendo, I have that, but with certain things, it's like, I mean, if I'm not going to spend all the time and effort on my PlayStation, then I'll get the most affordable PlayStation. That's what I was looking for, because once I was looking for the discless, because I'm not afraid of not having a disc. I mean, because I'd rather purchase my games download than have a physical copy. It's just less clutter for me. But it's just for the, like with the PlayStation, I have the PlayStation Slim. I'm absolutely cool with it. It's still a little powerhouse for what it does. It showed God of War. It absolutely fantastic. And so for my television, like, you know, with Samsungs, they don't have every port being 4K. So I'm like, well, what's the point of me getting a Pro unless I have to keep interchanging and switching? You know what I'm saying? So I just might as well just go ahead and get the Slim. So I've been content with it. So it's fine. So you're right. Everybody has to be within their means. But that's the one reason. It's just the same reason, like I said earlier, is that why PlayStation gamers were over here making the point of why people will buy the Slim is the same reason why people are going to buy the Series S.
Yeah, and it's like, look, when it comes to, you know, the exclusive stuff, like, I've always felt like Microsoft now, they're not under time restraints that they used to be under. Like, when 343 pops in and be like, yo, we need more time for this expansion on Halo Infinite, or Coalition pops in like, we need more time for Gear 6. They're like, oh, we got Avowed coming out that year, we got Fable coming out that year. Like, okay, you can move yours, because we was probably gonna move your game anyway. So like, we can't have these games coming out too much. Like, I honestly feel like Microsoft is going to be in the scenarios, because now we have all of Bethesda studios, and obviously they're going to buy more studios. They've already say they're buying more studios. We all the original studios, the 15 original studios. They all have multiple teams. We're going to have scenarios where Microsoft is going to have fully blown AAA titles done and be like, yo, we can't let you eat other people's games. Like, okay, let's move you back into 2023, 2024, like, because the game's done. You could go ahead, take the little bit of time to make sure they do a little bit of stuff that you guys wanted to do, because we got plenty to come out in this time frame. Because back in the day, it used to be when 343 or Coalition was like, we need more time. They're like, your only game coming out this year, fam. Like, we can't really give you that much time. But now it's not that case. And I feel like you're going to see a lot more high-quality studio games, and not necessarily AAA, but you're going to see high-quality AA games where it makes it feel like it's AAA, because they had the correct amount of time and money to invest into that brand. And I think we're going to get that. But, you know, go ahead and get these super chats. I'm going to read these super chats. Get these people out of here, man. They busy, man. They busy. So we got a $2 super chat from Fasino007. I definitely know that dude's important, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Can we have a Akira video game by Kojima? I'm sure one of you know that dude's name.
Oh,
Akira?
Akira. Yeah,
Akira?
Akira is a game. Akira from Kojima. No, no,
All right.
no. Let's have Akira made by the people that make Naruto. I think they would be more faithful.
Or Arc Systems, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the
Arc
people making
Systems,
Naruto,
yeah.
they're making a My Hero Academia. No,
Please.
they're making a Demon Slayer game.
They're
Well,
the Demon Slayers,
And the
yeah.
people that's making the people that you just said, K-Mega, they're making a My Hero game.
Right. And they're making a dungeon fighter too. That's most likely gonna be coming to Xbox.
I want studios that actually make anime games that stay faithful to the anime. I know. No, please keep Kojima the hell away from that.
Then we got a $3 super chat from Emerald A1. If Xbox can finally get Mistwalker, it's over. I'd 100% agree with you. I'm a huge fan of Mistwalker. I love Lost Odyssey. I love Blue Dragon. Yeah. I would love for them to buy that studio, but I don't think you got to be wanted to be purchased too. We got a $10 super chat from Gamer by Choice, just showing supports to the Lords and K Mega. Great show, guys. Keep it up. Great work. Then we got a $5 super chat from 108 Dragon, man. People
man, I got my sound effects. Wah! I do my every time he starts talking. Wah! Brooklyn.
Yeah. 108. I heard Megatron was feeding you that smoke on Street Fighter, man.
He was giving it to him.
I heard he was feeding you that smoke, man. People don't want to stay in their lane about their pockets and want to be in King and Lemons of the world, but we work hard to play harder. TCL is okay, man. I used to have a TCL TV. I was shamed by this man King David down here on the bottom screen over and over again.
You can't do that.
And I didn't care about the shaming. You know when I cared about when I was like, maybe I need to step it up. I was playing Gears 5, and I've told the story a couple times. I was playing Gears 5 with Kid Smooth. He had an Xbox One X, and I had an Xbox One S. And it was loading the game quicker on Kid Smooth's. So there were scenarios where literally they would have to keep me alive. He would have to keep me alive while I'm loading in because it's already loaded in completely on Kid Smooth, and I'm feeling the controller vibrating. I'm on a black screen, and I'm feeling the controller vibrating because I'm being attacked. It was very frustrating, and ever since then, I'm like, I'm not getting no Xbox Series S. I'm not getting no Xbox Series S2. It's always the X because I'm never having a scenario like that ever happen again. But, you know, first off, look at King down there.
Yeah, man. No, I got a Q90R, right? And so, like, and just like I was making a point about, like, but yeah, I stay within my means. I don't try to come out and boast and say that I get this and get that because I ain't got the bread like that to be doing. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm proud of my TV. But I was saying once I get me a PlayStation 5 is when I upgrade my television because I got to get me more ports. I can't stand the fact of just having just one port on the 7. And I'm not going to give me an LG. I'll get an LG for my wife. She's got an LG in there in the front room now, but if I upgrade to the LG, the main one where everybody promotes, that's for her because she watches television. I'm a gamer. I just rather be on my Samsung. But my wife's mom invested into a TLC or whatever, TCL, yeah. And I said, look, I'm not sure if you want to get that. You may want to get something else. And then she was about, that price is right, blah blah blah. And so then about 8 months later, she had this black screen pop up on the side and it wouldn't go away. And I was like, listen, you get what you pay for. I told my mom because she was looking at the same type of television. I had to tell her about it. So then she got her a Samsung too. Now she's fine. So you can't listen. I get it. People have budgets, but you got at least budget to get the right televisions. I say Samsung and LGs are the best way to go. Sony's are good televisions as well. I got a Sony in the bedroom, and then I got a Sony in the other spare room.
They just got to do their research.
You got to just do your research.
Just with anything, you just don't go out and just go purchase off the road, especially if it's life-changing things like you do your research when you buy a house, you do your research when you buy a car. televisions are the
And then
same
there's the people that
because
don't
you're
do the
doing,
research, asking
Yeah.
what a lemon law is on Facebook 6 months later.
and then they figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But you're doing, this is your media hub. This is your. Could you imagine during the whole pandemic, you sitting there with some bargain basement television and you can't go outside, and you sitting there watching the fuzz buzz run across the street, or the dudes run across and you see multiple dudes because it can't do fast motion good.
Right.
so let's invest in ourselves, people. Like, we are gamers. Let's invest in it's not just one thing when you go get the console. Great,
Right.
you got a PlayStation 5. Great, you got a Series X. But does it check those boxes? Is those boxes checked? And if they're not, then make sure that you get a television, because there are televisions in your means that do check those boxes, so that you're getting the most out of your product that you do have. You don't want to have a high power. This is like going to get a great graphics card, but your CPU is garbage, right? So you have to align your products. If this is where you game and this is your entertainment, please focus on that part and put your energy into that part so you can get the most out of your systems and your stuff like that. That's all I got to say. I just try to get the most out of my devices. That's all.
I definitely agree.
Absolutely.
So we got a $5 per drop. One bad mother. I bought a 77X CX with all the money I saved, switch gaining my gaming life to Xbox Game Pass. 2 games a month costs more than 24 months financing on an OLED. You got a point there, man. If you want to upgrade to a new TV, we got a system for you. It's called the Xbox Series S, and you get that Game Pass, and then in like a year, you can get that nice OLED CX 77-inch. We're gonna go and end on there, man. K Mega, where can the people find you at, man? You got to tell them all that nice stuff that you got going on over there.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for the invite, man. I really do. I do appreciate it, man. Especially, me and Attic, we talk damn near all the time. I went into the party with David a couple of times, and he's like, "Man, why you won't be coming in here?" I say, "Man, I don't be bothering people. Man, you better come in here and say what's up." That's all. I told Dealer and other people, man, I want to be more open of coming to jumping in parties and stuff. I just, I'm just kind of nocturnal like that, but. Yeah, you can come and check me out on the GRG podcast. Check out me and the crew. 108 Dragons, Bloody, Six Slayer, PK Live. You know what I'm saying? And our second lady. You know what I'm saying? First lady to the second generation, Miss D. Check us out every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and I believe 6 p.m. Pacific time, and 2 a.m. Overseas GMT time. So yeah, check us out.
108, $5 super chat. Man, okay. I don't know PC. I don't know TV stuff. I'ma try, but this seems like a foreign language.
High sense.
Someone read that, because I will butcher all of that. That's clearly TV stuff.
Yeah, he said the high ends U8G is the best budget TV right now. 65-inch, 1300 and HDR 120 with Dolby Vision 120 FPS. Also, my boy King always send y'all to my channel. Facts. All right. So go check out 108. He had to promote Brooklyn. Yeah, go check out my boy 108 Dragons TV at the Dragons Den.
Yeah, Dragons Den, good content, man. Good content.
Good content. Also, Fight Night Sundays. Every Sunday night, we play Nothing But Fighters. So if y'all interested, 9 p.m. Central Time, come and get it, or just come watch me on Twitch at KMega405. Also, every Thursday night, my boy Xbox448, we do the next podcast, and that's at 7 p.m. Central. And the Dev and the Gamer, we'll be bringing that back, and that's where I can finally get my boy King David to come on, because to get that schedule to me and my boy the Don, and we could try to get that popping. But yeah, appreciate it, man. I really do. It's an honor, man, to be in here amongst the realm, man. No doubt.
And
the baby realm.
The baby realm. Yeah, this is
Addict's world.
The baby realm. I don't like you calling this the baby realm. Okay, I might have to go back and edit that out. So King David, man, one of the lords from the IOP. First off, I want to say that people have been asking. Yes, I'm working with the logistics. We're going to be doing that extra podcast where you guys ask us non-gaming related stuff. I got to work the logistics out a little bit. The Patreon people and the members are going to be asking the questions. We will be making the very first episode a public factor, but the only questions we are answering is the people on Patreon and the people on members. We got to give you guys some content, man. You guys go above and beyond, but we will give that first episode to everyone because we want to show you guys the quality of that show and the quality of that product. And then after that, you'll have to be a member or a Patreon. Ken, where can the people find you at, man? Where can they find you at?
You can find me sleep until Sundays at 1 p.m. Yeah, this stuff in the gym is killing me. I'm doing a whole bunch of different stuff, and you just got to try different things to get different results. And it's been fun. It's a little fun journey that I'm going on. You can find me at Iron Lords Podcast Sundays at 1 p.m. during football season. This is get ready to start.
Go Rams!
It's about to be 11 a.m. Oh my God. Oh, oh my God. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that. But we have DCX is coming back again soon in August. Host had to take a little hiatus, a little break on some stuff, but we'll be right back there. I'm trying to get myself onto Real to Real this week with Everborn and Kasante because I have some stuff I want to talk about. You guys was on my timeline talking about how He-Man wasn't another Netflix banger. And I got words for you because when I did purchase my He-Man toys, I didn't just purchase He-Man and Skeletor. They weren't the focal point of my battles. My battles was Man-at-Arms. My battle was Triceratops. My battle was Skunk Man. The fact that they did have Skunk Man in there blew my mind.
Right.
Merman, he is Aquaman, but y'all thought he was a little subservient dude that wasn't a boss. He was a boss. They show boss tactics in these things. So I thought that show was so amazing for the collectors of all the toys, and then they showed other aspects of it. So at no point in time do I agree with anybody on the timeline having these feelings of toxic masculinity, that with these feelings of inferiority to female heroines actually taking the role as the hero. So I don't agree with you, but I will have something to talk about on
absolutely. I made a video talking about that yesterday. Yeah, I totally agree.
Thank you.
There's no wokeness about that. That was just good storytelling.
Good storytelling.
That gave the support characters love. I mean, that you can't be one of these people that go and play like a game like Mass Effect and then jump in and play all the side story missions for all the side characters and want to get a better understanding of them and then bitch about or complain about what I'm saying, like come on.
I've always felt like side characters just as important as main characters. The best shows that's ever been on TV, the best games that's ever been in gaming, they've always told them all just as much. And I feel like people always like to really not do that side stuff. And this is coming from me that don't do that side stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got a $2 super chat from Everborn Saga. K-Maker, come through Thursday. King might need backup. Oh, he said you might need backup.
Man. God knows I can stand on my square and I can defend it. And I'm telling you, you might not be ready for my level of defending because I've watched every episode of He-Man. And I got the new ones, and I still got the old ones, and I'm going to bring props.
He hit me up after a podcast once, and he was like, yo, man, let me on, because he want to talk about a certain topic. But I was like, dude, I don't really look at I don't look at Twitter when I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? I always look at afterwards. But, we definitely got to get Everborn back on the Attic Show. I definitely enjoy him. And, K-Mega's always welcome in
appreciate it, man.
In the baby realm.
My bad.
This is Addict's World, baby.
I definitely appreciate everyone coming through. We're going to go and end this. First off, I want to point out, yes, I read the comments on the Iron Lords podcast. I saw you guys say how crispy clean. Some of you was making very questionable comments about my beard. That now that I got this camera and I'm looking at you sideways now, but it is what it is.
Oh, they saying your beard was sexy.
Yeah, they would say some crazy stuff. But,
but
just to clarify,
watch your DMs. There's a lot of males telling him his beard.
Just to clarify, every Lord will have this camera within probably the next month, a month and a half. I was kind of the guinea pig. We wanted to see what type of quality we want, and we get these type of items to improve the podcast because of the support you guys get. You guys come through here, the super chats, the likes. We're able to do this stuff and to make a better
goes
product.
Right back into the product. It doesn't go anyplace else
right
at all. I got Game Pass.
Thank you. Right.
He's like,
I was doing some e-bagging on GRG. Like, man, that Samurai Showdown looks good, man. I mean, you know, that YouTube money got to go right back into
you know,
exactly.
Right now, next week on Sunday. Because what's funny is when we did this, because we got, man, I forgot, I don't even know where it is. It's around here somewhere. We got, here it is. We got the wrong lens. So we got the wrong lens. It was zoomed in, man. I felt uncomfortable. You see, like, nah, we ain't talking about that. But, you know, so we got a different lens. You know, that's what this is here. Cog will most likely be with the same camera Sunday if we have enough time to really build it up. And then after me and Cog, you know, we'll find out everyone likes it. Then we got to figure out King, because look at King. King is a unique situation because he wants to all the stuff in the background, but we still want a good camera, so we might have to get, you know, might have to get a good lens for King. But I definitely appreciate everyone coming through, man. This is Gaming Addict. This is the